want a sword, Thorfinn? A sword is a tool meant to kill. Why do you need it? Whose life do you intend to take?
Enemies.
Your enemies? Who are they?
Well, bad guys like Halfdan.
Listen to me, my son.
12 days we were together.
You don't have enemies.
All the time we
The
were
truth is
apart.
that nobody has them.
Of each other's lives,
Nobody in this entire world deserves to get hurt.
heart to heart.
The anime Vinland Saga follows a young Icelander named Thorfinn, who is thrust into a world of pillaging, war, and death during the Viking Age. I just finished the second season and I have to say it is an incredibly amazing show. But without fail, after watching a couple episodes, I often found myself wanting to play Crusader Kings 3. And it's not hard to see why. There's plenty of similarities between the events of the show and the game itself. I mean, there's literally a plotline where a king needs to revoke land away from one of his rich vassals because he's not producing enough gold to sustain his armies. Today, I want to play a game where I roleplay as the main character Thorfinn. Without getting into too many spoilers, we will be starting out as the 6-year-old Duke of Iceland. From here, we will have 19 years to aggressively expand our Icelandic realm before Thorfinn sees the light, takes his father's words to heart, and realizes that
Nobody in this entire world deserves to get hurt.
then we will settle down, not declare a single offensive war ever again, and develop Iceland into the most prosperous realm in the entire world, hopefully proving that Vinland was Iceland all along. So we're in the game here as our 6-year-old Thorfinn, the same age he was in the beginning of Vinland Saga, and we are currently the Duke of all of Iceland because we've decided to go with a 1066 start as it is a little bit closer to the actual time period in the show. And there's a few interesting things that we can actually do because we're playing 1066. If we go to the governments, you can see we're tribal, and we are actually one of the only tribal regions in the western portion of the map, which means we'll be able to do a ton of raiding on places like Ireland, which are currently split up into all of these tiny counties that are extremely weak. As we only have a short period of time until Thorfinn is 25 to actually be aggressive, launch wars, raid, we're going to need to make use of that as much as we can to build our strength up and hopefully get enough land to be able to create the Kingdom of Iceland before we adopt our pacifist ways and really try to prosper and create peaceful utopia Iceland. So the very first thing that I think we should do is declare war for the Isle of Man before we do anything else, because it's going to kind of give us a little kind of like a raiding base where we can raise our men and then raid all these beautiful luscious Irish counts here who are very weak. So we're going to launch that war. I also have 450 prestige, and I'm going to use that to pick up a regiment of Iranian veterans because they're like the strongest heavy infantry in the entire game. And then bring our army down to Galway because I don't really want to attack them right away off a boat, because you'll see we would have this recently disembarked penalty, which is pretty painful. So we're going to wait for that to bleed off in 20 days. We're going to cross this strait here, which for some reason they didn't defend that. And then we can run in here and we will probably win this battle pretty easily. So just like that, we can enforce our demands, and we have got our first piece of land in this game as aggressive Thorfinn. The great thing about taking the Isle of Man, the whole reason we wanted it, other than using it as a raiding base, is because it's a one-tile duchy, which means we can spend 125 gold to create the Duchy of the Isle of Man. And in order to create a new kingdom, we actually need to hold 3 duchies completely. And I think it would be kind of cool to try to wrestle away this Duchy of the Northern Isles from Norway, making us kind of like, you know, a Viking raider island kingdom. However, the only problem is Norway is actually extremely strong right now. Not only are they strong, but they have a lot of really strong allies as well. So we might have to get a little bit cheeky, maybe a murder scheme in the future to get rid of Norway before we can even think about taking these 3 islands away from them. Luckily, because it is a 1066 start, we already have 70% of all the innovations of the tribal era, which is normally the longest thing to get if you're wanting to get out of tribal. The other things we do have to do is go to absolute tribal authority. That shouldn't be too hard, especially with all the raiding we're going to be doing. So let's go over here, plop down a rally point in the Isle of Man, and we'll raise our entire army, turn them into raiders, and you can see we're going to have a good time raiding Ireland now. And there you go, my army has filled up completely on loot, so we're going to run them back to the Isle of Man. And you can see not only do we deliver 118 gold, but also 118 prestige for our little Thorfinn here. And that prestige is going to go a long way in not only buying men-at-arms, which we're going to want to do a lot of, but also in building buildings, because we need gold and prestige to build buildings. And we're going to be going for a war camps here in the capital because they boost our heavy infantry damage. And this is just going to go up more and more as we build these war camps and then hopefully upgrade them to tier 2 as well, which will boost it by 40%. Which is pretty nutty considering how early in the game we are here. I'm also going to want to fill out our knights here and probably, oh, this guy's actually perfect, probably use this guy as a, what the hell is this called again? Use this guy as an accolade because the Vanguard makes it so that we have +2 size for our heavy infantry regiments, and every time he's in the army, our heavy infantry is going to get +10% damage, making our Varangian veterans even beefier. Unfortunately, when we're a kid, we can't really do activities like hunts and feasts, which are great ways to convert your gold into prestige, which pretty much like we're going to try to max out how much prestige we get this game. What we can do instead for prestige is just go back on another raiding adventure into Ireland and raid the whole southern region here. So because we're 6, we actually get to choose all our traits here for our little Thorfinn, and temperate is one of my favorites. It's a virtue to Catholics, which is really nice because I do want to change our religion eventually, so the piety should go a long way, and the stewardship is going to be pretty huge. But diligent is also really good for going tall. The only thing is we probably will get stressed out by choosing this. I think I think I just will go for temperate because of the because it's also a virtue and I do need piety here. Okay, so another raiding adventure. I'm actually going to upgrade our war camps to tier 2 because it's going to give us another knight. It's going to give us way more heavy infantry damage. You can already see they're doing 67 damage, getting boosted by 50% from being stationed in our capital. Okay, so we just turned 16 actually. And that's pretty big because now we can lead our own troops here. And I'm going to be going down a martial education with a chivalry focus in order to boost our ability of leading our troops. And we can run this back now and we're going to gain another very healthy amount of gold and prestige from that. Now that we're an adult, another thing we can do is start a murder scheme against the King of Norway because this alliance he has here to England is actually through a marriage with him. So when his kid takes over, he will not have that anymore. That should weaken them enough that we can maybe wrestle away the Northern Isles from Norway. We're gonna have to invite some people to this, but I think that should be okay. We do have a lot of gold, remember, from all this raiding we have done. What I'm gonna do with the rest of my gold is actually host a grand tournament. And it doesn't really matter what we choose here. We can do a recital and archery. And the reason I'm doing this is to get even more prestige, because hosting this is going to get us a lot of prestige, but we actually have an okay amount of prowess. So maybe we could win this also. It'll be interesting to see. Oh, and look at that. We won the archery contest. Love that. Let's see what happens here in the recital. Oh my goodness, we won that also. Okay, that is awesome. So look at this. We're going to get a prize bow, prize brooch, and 800 prestige. That is actually a ton of prestige here. It actually gets us towards illustrious, which we also need to get to in order to do a duchy holy war. You can see if I wanted to do one, we need illustrious prestige here. And we're 17 now, so we're approaching the age we said we have to hit to become a pacifist. So we got to get all of our naughtiness out now. So the good thing is our war camps are almost finished. There you go, they just finished. And now you can see we're getting 81 damage from our Aruarian veterans only 11 years after the start of the game. So I'm going to go on another raiding adventure here. I'm going to make myself the commander. I should put my wife on chivalry to boost our ability here just a little bit. But actually, I think I'm probably strong enough to do a raiding against Munster. And not only will we raid him, but we'll also fight him here. Boom, it said we were going to lose that, but I knew there was no way because our Aruarian veterans are just too strong for him at this point. We did get wounded in that battle though, which is actually not good.
Stop! You violated the law. Pay the court a fine or serve your sentence.
At least we're gaining some decent prestige every time we beat him back here. Okay, and one more battle. That's probably as much as I can push it. We're pretty much loaded on loot anyway. We might as well sail back to the Isle of Man now. Okay, and here goes our murder scheme against Norway. We actually got up to 95% chance. So let's see if that goes through.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And it did go through, but they found out it was us. But you know what? That kind of actually fits the storyline here if we are a murderer. Because, I mean, Thorfinn is a murderer. He's fighting with his demons the entire show. This actually is pretty fitting. Okay, so now if we actually look at Norway, they're still pretty strong. Like this guy, they have 4,000 men. But maybe with our ally down here, we could be strong enough to take them. How old are we? 19 right now, okay. So, I think we're gonna have time. I think we're gonna have time to do everything here. And her wife just died. Oh, okay. So we lost our ally. Should I go for somebody who has martial ability just to boost our own battle modifier? Or should I go for alliance power? Now this is the real important decision here. Oh, we could ally to Denmark. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna ally myself to Denmark. It's kind of like I'm allying myself to Canute in this show. That's kind of fitting also. We're gonna betroth ourselves to a 2-year-old.
What do you mean by that?
Alliance formed with the King of Denmark, who is very strong. Now I think we are ready. We have enough prestige. Let's launch our war and see if we can take our first piece of land. Oh my goodness, he keeps making new alliances. I guess he had a lot of kids. The hardest thing about taking these islands is whenever somebody attacks them, they lose the recently disembarked penalty, and then to attack them, I'm gonna have recently disembarked, which actually sucks. Like, let's see if we're able to win this. I kind of doubt it. Yeah, but at least our ally's gonna come in, so hopefully that pushes it in our favor. Let's go, it does. We took some losses there, but that's okay. And they should have to retreat all the way home now, which should let us take this last island here. We can pick up chivalric dominance, which makes our knights a whole lot more effective, which is actually very, very important. We're getting 209% to our knight effectiveness right now. And will he actually move over here? Okay, he will. Let's go. Which will hopefully let us regen our supplies a little bit.
Stop it. Get some help.
Gotcha, bitch!
Oh, and let's go, guys. We captured the King of Norway in that last battle. We can enforce our demands here, and look at that. We have now taken control of 3 duchies. If we create this one, or usurp this duchy, then if we go to decisions, you can see we now have everything we need other than the prestige, gold, piety to create a new kingdom, which will be the Kingdom of Iceland. Okay guys, so we have finished all the conquering we needed to do, but we still have 3 years before we're supposed to become a true pacifist. So I think I'm going to use those 3 years to raid Ireland some more. You know, we need to pick up some more prestige still, and gold. Like, we're running low on both those things anyway. I'm also going to break our betrothal, which is kind of like not a very nice thing to do, but you can see I don't really want to be married to a 4-year-old. Instead, I'd like to find somebody who maybe, like this French lady actually looked really good before. So we'll send a proposal to her. We can now put her on chivalry, which gets us +9 in our martial ability. So if we are the commander, we're now a 27 rank commander, and now nobody in Ireland will even be able to dream of stopping us from raiding them. Okay, so you can see the Munster guy thinks he's strong enough still to come and try to attack us, but now we have reached our final form where we're actually a good commander as well, so we should have a very easy time of destroying him in this battle.
Very nice.
Let's actually go attack him again just to get more prestige from that. There you go, actually putting us into the positive in terms of prestige. We've also reached our limit in terms of gold, so let's run over to the Isle of Man, drop that off. Oh, we actually became a Viking. Let's go. And there you go, guys. We just had our baby boy, and I think that actually marks the perfect place for us to switch from our previous murderous Viking lifestyle into our now prosperous, peace-loving Thorfinn. Just like his dad in the show, he now realizes that truly nobody has any enemies, and we need to just work on developing Iceland into the beautiful, prosperous land it deserves to be.
生きろと言える世界が欲しい。死ぬ以外救いを持たない人たちに胸を張って語れる死の魅力を超えたそんな地を俺たちの生きる世界にそれだけをみんな求めていたのに。
Alrighty, so we just returned home, which means we should have a decision available to us to found our new kingdom. Here it is. We have the gold, prestige, and the piety ready. Let's do it. My realm will last forever. We now became the king of Iceland. I absolutely love it. So now the only thing left for us to do, well, there's a lot of stuff for us to do, but the next thing for us to do is going to be adopt feudal ways. And you can see in order to do that, we need to go to absolute tribal authority, which I think if you wait like 10 years, this cooldown thing would go away.
A few moments later.
So it only costs 200 prestige to go to absolute tribal authority, so we can do that right away. And now you can see we can adopt feudal ways here for the low price of 200 more prestige, and we have done it, guys. Well, there you have it, guys. So we've done all the hard work. What's next is pretty much just to like boom. If you ever played Age of Empires 2, we're just going all in on eco. We're gonna boom as hard as we can and try to really become the most developed land in the entire game. Right now, 1087 AD, we have a highest development of 9, and the highest development in the world is Constantinople at 38. So we are at quite a disadvantage right now, but once we get the ball rolling, hopefully you'll see Iceland as a brilliant yellow sun in the top left corner of the map here. And there's a few things we'll need to do in order to get that going. I do want to reform our religion, I do want to reform our culture, and both of those things are going to take a lot of resources in order to diverge our culture, which really isn't that useful. I could just reform it, but I kind of do want to be called the Icelander culture. I feel like that's really fitting. And if we do this, we can also switch to bureaucratic, which is going to be useful for development growth. And then we're going to want to switch around our traditions as well, because the Norse ones have like nothing in terms of going tall. We're going to want to pick up things like collective lands, which you can see gives us development growth. We're going to want to probably pick up guardian architects for sure, because that's huge for going tall. And then we're going to want one terrain tradition. It's going to depend on where we want our final capital. Like, we could put it here where Reykjavik is, and then it'll be taiga terrain. Which is taiga terrain, which gives you -5 development growth. But then, like I said, if we diverge our culture and pick up something like forest folk as an example, you can see we actually will be gaining a +10 in our development growth from taiga. And then for our religion, the main thing we want to do is create a new faith, and we're going to want to go for pacifism.
Pon atención, Thorfinn. No tienes enemigos. Nadie tiene enemigos.
It fits our playstyle here. We're going to be very peaceful. We're peaceful Thorfinn. You know, he doesn't want any war. It actually helps us in the game as well, because it's going to give us +1 domain limit. +1 domain limit is going to go a long way, because of course I need to get... because of course I'm going to want to go for a lay clergy with anachronism, because holding temples is going to be incredibly important. We'll have 4 counties plus 2 temples. That'll be 6 domains, which I think will be fine for us. So first things first, we really need to increase our gold income. Oh, what the heck, man. Of course we get war declared on us by some weak ass person, but they're allied to France. Like, France, what are you doing allying yourselves to this random duchy up here? So we'll have to defend this. We're pacifists, remember, but, you know, I'm not just going to let, like, any army come in and declare war against us. We're going to have to defend against stuff like that. Now, they do have almost double the amount of men we have, but we have the advantage. But we need to catch them when they come off the boat. So let's raise our army here. This will put us in a lot of debt right now, which I'm not a fan of. But at least they're going to come off here. You see, this is the penalty they're going to get recently disembarked.
Very
and
nice.
Boom, even though they had an overwhelming majority, you can see the fact is we have very strong Varangian veterans who had a terrain bonus, because this is what, plains. We ended up killing a ton of French soldiers in that battle. Alright, I beat them again, trying to take the Isle of Man. We went up to 90%. This should take to 100. We're in a decent amount of debt, but we'll get out of that when the war ends from the amount of money they're going to pay us. Man, this guy is pissing me off, my old regent. I want to like revoke his land, and I know what you're thinking, oh, revoking, that's like an evil thing, but you can actually revoke where it won't start a war, and that's what I want to get to. A situation where, you know, like the vassal actually understands that revoking his land away from him is the right play. But unfortunately, this guy's like our regent right now, and he's entrenched, so we can't actually revoke his land right now. He is maimed, one-legged, and a lunatic, as well as infirm. So you would think he's gonna die soon, but he picked up like whole of body and stuff. He might keep on living just a little bit longer. But I do want to take control of Reykjavik, because I want to make it my capital, and I just want to hold all these lands personally. So yeah, that's interesting. My warriors are ready to fight. I'm always down to join a crusade.
What? What the fuck?
Oh no, wait, actually. I definitely cannot join this crusade. I forgot our whole point of this game was to not be declaring wars and such, so gonna have to not send any men to this, but you know, I will lie to the Pope saying I will send somebody. I'm creeping down the theologian tree here in learning lifestyle in order to pick up profit, because that's going to make reforming our faith 50% cheaper. We are making a ton of piety per month right now. 4.4 is very nice. The faith we wanted to do here with pacifism, anaconism, and the lay clergy looks like it's going to cost around 4,500, so 50% off that. I'll still need about 2,000, so we might have to do some pilgrimages, but I think we can save up for that, no problem. We still are only 35, so we should be playing as Thorfinn for a little bit longer. Oh, and actually it looks like this guy finally died, who was our regent. We have a new regent here, but could we just end this? Like, I really don't want to be in a regency anymore. It's kind of pissing me off. So this is what I was talking about. I don't want to revoke this title in a way that will create a war with this vassal. Instead, I want to get to a position where we can both be friends, and they'll realize that me revoking these 2 pieces of land away from them is what's best for the realm. It's really what's best for everybody. So right now it's at 50% if I were to revoke this county where Reykjavik is. So we can definitely get this up for sure if I like send him a gift, or actually I should just start swaying him right now. Probably is a good idea, and he should be accepting that no problem very soon. Alright, so this guy has 100 opinion with us now, so I think we'll probably get as high as we can to revoke. 100% chance he accepts this, so let's do it. Got a little stressed out by that, but I think we should be okay. Okay, that's nice. So now that we have Reykjavik, let's move. Okay, we can't change our capital right in this moment, but we'll be doing that soon enough. That's also important to get this as our holding, because we can create a duchy building here when we have the chance. And okay, we won the crusade. I didn't help because I'm a peaceful man, but at least what that means is we can move our capital over to Reykjavik. Like I said before, it's going to be more helpful than having it in the hills, because Taiga only has a -5 to development growth, and I do want to pick up Forest Folk, which is going to help us. It's going to help us increase the development even more with that bad boy. Oh no, guys! So we have our a death event here. Oh, this is actually awful. Oh. We were actually so close to being able to convert our religions, to reform our religion. I had picked up everything we needed. I had picked up the prophet trait. I think I needed like 500, 600 more piety, and we would have been able to reform our religion. But now we have a whole new character here, so...
Fuck me, right?
Alright, so at least I turned 16, so I wasn't a kid for too long. So we'll have to go down theology, focus again, try to get profit. And there you go, we gained 750 piety from that. So you know what, by the time we finally do get to hit profit here, which will be in still 3 more perks, and each perk takes around 3 years, I think we'll definitely have enough piety to convert our faiths. So over here, I actually have a couple quarters who are unmarried, so I'm going to sort by stewardship because I need a better steward. Set them up with a matrilineal marriage. This makes it so if they were like higher ranking than her, she would go live with him. But if you do matrilineal, they will always come live with her no matter what. So that's a pretty solid way to get better quarters if you don't have good ones. Like right now, we only have a steward with 12, and a 12 steward is currently getting us 2.2 development per month. But if we swap this guy out for the new guy with 22 skill, and we go over here and we click, you can see we're gonna be getting 3.7 now instead, which actually makes a pretty huge difference. And we don't even have that many percent bonuses yet. Once we really start stacking all of our development percent bonuses, that just becomes more and more important. So I've saved a good amount of money here, and we can actually use that money to build a duchy building in the capital. And we're gonna go for our royal reserves because, shocker, it gives us development growth. It also gives us 0.8 tax per month, which honestly is not too bad. That'll be done in just 3 years. Got profit here, which means we can create our new... NANI? The fervor was low before, so it was like we almost had enough money to do this, but now we need about 700 more piety before we can create our new religion. Yeah, so I just did another pilgrimage, and you can see we gained almost 1,000 piety that time, bringing us up to 3,800 piety in total. So we definitely have enough now. I probably have enough actually to switch out monasticism with something else. What could be good? This actually could be perfect. Learning lifestyle experience to get us that extra learning and development growth that is pretty useful in tall games. So I'll probably do that. Let's do divorce is always allowed. And then we just need to come up with a good name and we'll be ready to go. And there you go. Pacifism I think is perfect. Let's create this for 3,000 prestige. Boom. There it is. We now, since we chose lay clergy, we now can hold these 2 temples over here, which is going to be really nice. And there you go. A month goes by and you can see we're now making 8.3 gold per month because we have these 2 temples now contributing to our gold income. Not only that, but you can see we're going to be getting the anachronism discount in building in this temple. Hopefully we can also gain enough prestige as this guy to reform our culture, pick up taiga, pick up forest wardens, and then we'll get even more discounts from building in these 2 forest terrains. Probably enough to not cause a war here, so we're going to revoke this guy's title. He accepts peacefully, and now we have another county here. We actually can hold 7 of 7, so now we have every single holding that we can hold in Iceland. We only have to have 12 stewardship to do this also, which is really nice. And we're also holding the Isle of Man down here too, just because, you know, it's going to give us some nice benefits. We can also build a duchy building down here when we have enough gold to do that, and just focus on completely booming our development growth, which is only at 12 right now. Let's check the development around the world. We have 12 in the capital now, Reykjavik. And what do we got over here? Constantinople's at 43. So we're losing a bit of ground, but we're not fully ready to start really boosting yet. We got to reform the culture next. So now I could do some things like invest in my cities, but you don't really get that much tax from your city holdings because like you have to have a mayor in there who holds it. So I think probably the better use for my gold is to do an activity, like do another grand tournament potentially, where if we win it, you know, we can gain a ton of prestige that way, and then we'll be a lot closer to reforming our culture. All right, so I ended up winning both competitions again, just like earlier in the game, and we gained 800 prestige from that, plus a little bit more during those events, you know. So now we go all the way up to 3,000. Let's have a look at our culture. If we wanted to diverge it, it's going to cost 4,000 flat out to become an Icelander. If we want forest folk, it's going to be another 5,000 on top of that. That is pretty expensive. I guess we'll probably be able to get there because we are still only 34 years old, but 9,000 is a crap ton of prestige. So I set one of my sons up in for a grand wedding here. And we'll do it in the capital, and this is a great way to get really a lot of prestige gain. Yeah, see some of these things like you can turn down because I don't really care about them. It's really entertainment that gives you increased prestige gain, so we're going to go all out for that. Wedding venue, like we don't really care. And then we can start the wedding for 300 gold around. That's not too expensive. We should get a really a lot of prestige for that.
Give me the champagne! Addicted to champagne!
And there you go. So it finished. We gained 1,200 prestige. We're only 3,000 off from being able to reform our culture and pick up forest wardens. And we already gained another 300 gold after spending all our money on that wedding. Oh, I didn't even notice, but we joined the High Medieval Era. That's a pretty important one. I'm researching battlements, which will finish like really soon, and then I don't really care about the rest of these that much, to be honest. I might just jump right into High Medieval and go for something like windmills to build the simple windmill, which is an amazing development building. You can see it gives you development growth % and development growth flat out, as well as a lot of tax. And then there's a lot of other good things in High Medieval also. High Medieval is like a great era to go into. I am loving this. Everyone wants to ally with me through all my kids. So I'm getting some pretty great alliances just from marrying my daughters off, so I don't really have to worry about being too strong myself, which is good because I am totally pumping everything I can into my land right now. Alright, I don't know if my guy's just an absolute beast or these events are glitched out, but I just won literally all 3 events and I wasn't even trying to. I was like going to the artisan quarters to boost my my inventory items. Like I gave some of my things more prestige and stuff, which is actually pretty cool. I didn't know you get that. Like I give my bow more prestige. But yeah, you can see we went to 11,000 prestige now. So if we go over here to diverge culture, we can select bureaucratic as our new ethos, which is going to gain us a lot of development growth, going to give us more learning lifestyle experience, which is really important. We got forest folk in here. Going to lower the price we pay for building forest, which is where our capital is, as well as give us more development growth. We could take another thing that costs 2k, or we are at 49. Like we could keep pushing to get more development. Oh, actually, maritime mercantilism actually is probably pretty valuable because it lets us get trade ports early, as well as giving us additional 10% tax. So we're going to go for this. Let's do it. Let's diverge a culture.
Hooray!
Okay, so now we have our culture in these 2 regions here, which should increase our research speed. Let's see. Remember, windmills was taking 22 years at 0, and now it's only taking 13 years. That's pretty huge.
Magnificent pair of bananas.
Looks like somebody has finally decided to declare war against us, and they're allied to Scotland, eh? No wonder they're so strong. For my Isle of Man. Now, I don't really need the Isle of Man, but I also don't just want to surrender it. Alright, well, I've decided if this guy's going to declare war on us with his big ass allies, then I'm just going to find an ally of my own, and it turns out we can actually ally ourselves to the Holy Roman Emperor.
You've got mail.
Excellent.
In the arms of the angel.
Well, we may have lost that first battle, but they came to attack us in our capital, and we stack wiped the whole first army because they took the penalty for coming off a boat. And it looks like this second army is now going to lose to us pretty decisively. So we've already reduced our strength. It turns out the Holy Roman Empire is actually in their own war right now, so I don't think he's going to be sending us troops. And we actually will have to fight this off on our own, which is a bit of a bummer. Oh my god, these guys are really annoying me. And I just stack wiped the rest of the army, so I'm gonna run back down here to the Isle of Man, take it back, and that probably should get us to 100% war score. So at this point in the game, I'm just gonna be doing your standard tall things like, you know, upgrading my trade ports as high as I can to get more development boosts. I already have tier 4 over here in the temple where my capital is. I can start upgrading the trade ports and guilds in the city here to even stack that further. We're not getting like a crazy amount right now, plus 1.3, but when we're able to pick up guardian architects, that will help a lot. If we go to our court, I can switch off of tribal finally and go to something like administrative court, which costs 500 prestige, but as you can see, we're already going to be getting a 5% discount in construction costs, 10% in speed, and if we go to level 7 court grandeur, we get a bonus of 0.2 development in the capital. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. So there we go. We're going to go up from 0.2 maintenance to 2.2, but I think it's worth it. We're making 16 gold per month anyway, and when this goes to 7, we'll be getting a nice little bit of development growth from that. Okay, I just picked up centralization, so that's netting us a further 0.3 development per month. I'm not going to go all the way to architect. It's not really necessary. We don't need the discounts. I'd rather have the development growth bonus from scholarship focus. And now you can see we actually are getting 2.5 development per month in the capital, which is decent. And I think our court is probably almost at 7. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to 7 at this point. So that's going to net us another 0.2. But you always have to remember, it's not only 0.2, it's 0.2 multiplied by all of these percent bonuses, which are getting really nice. Okay, so we just died. We're playing as our son here. Our land did split a little bit because we had 3 sons. So I think one of them got these 2 counties and another one probably got the Isle of Man. And let's see if we were to revoke these. They already would almost accept, so I'm going to start swaying them in order to get this percent chance up a little bit. Okay guys, I just hosted a grand tournament which got me all the way up to 7,000 prestige. So I'm going to go ahead, reform our culture here, and we're going to be picking up garden architects. This is going to be the most valuable thing for us because it gives you a position where you just get flat out development growth, and that's going to be huge. You'll see when we get the garden architect position just how high we're going to go. We're already making 2.2, and I've started going down a stewardship lifestyle focus in order to pick up centralization for that extra 0.3 afterwards. Oh, it looks like we also got windmills, which I didn't even notice, and that is huge for us because it lets us pick up a really important building, which is the windmill, which I think I'm going to pick up instead of the watermill because it gives us more development growth. So let's just wait 1 month until we have enough money to do this, and then I'll start building. We're getting a lot of discounts right now in terms of speed, so it only takes 11 months to build this building, and once we start upgrading this to the higher tiers, you can see you just get crazy development from it. I'm going to do another windmills in our other county here that has our Icelander culture for the same reason as getting the one in the capital. And then we have extra building slots in our other counties down here, which I think I'll just go to help boost my men-at-arms, even though I'm not really getting in too many wars, but just in case we're going to have to defend our beautiful Iceland. Oh my goodness, am I psychic? They really want to take the Isle of Man away from me. So even though my army isn't really tooled around, I'm not really tooling my realm to have a super powerful army, you can still see we're winning some pretty important battles where they have a lot more men than us. It's mainly due to our Iranian veterans, but also our knights. Having a lot of knights is always really important. And there you go, we won the war. We're going to get 280 gold from that. We take that for sure. Okay guys, I think this time we will not be able to hold the Isle of Man any longer. We were kind of just using it for the gold, but it really doesn't make that much gold. Like, I'm not really investing too much over here. So I think I'm just going to have to surrender this one. England alone we could probably take, but they have a lot of allies. Like, these Scottish guys have been involved in every single war I've been in all the wars that people have been declaring for the Isle of Man. So I think it's about time we just surrender it. You can have it. England, keep your Isle of Man. I'll just be living peacefully up here in Iceland now. I guess that means I can switch my wife off of managed domain onto patronage, which is actually pretty good because it will help with my research speed, because that's giving me a lot more learning. We go all the way up to 42 now because of that. And there you go, guys. You can see we just embraced the garden architect's tradition, which is going to give us access to the gardener position. We have 25 development right now. We're going up by 1.9. If we go to decisions, we should have this one, recruit gardener. Let's do this. We'll see if this guy's good. And now if we go to our core positions, court gardener, we can hire this guy who's going to be netting us 0.4 development per month. And now with the gardener employed, we go all the way up to 5.1, guys. Absolutely beautiful. And we should catch up to Constantinople. Hopefully it won't take too much longer. I think they're at 51 right now. So we have just more than half their development, which I have to say is pretty decent considering we started out as a tribal realm this game. Alright, so we died. Still getting 3.1 development in the capital. That's pretty decent. Gonna have to reset our perks just so we can get centralization instead of the other ones in stewardship. The other ones are pretty useless for us at this point in the game. And then we're gonna switch over to stewardship to learning lifestyle whenever we have the option to do that. We can easily make a feast here, first of all, to lose all the stress we just picked up from doing that. And I don't have any sons, which I don't really like, so I'm going to try to have one here. I'll divorce my wife.
Get back,
Oh baby guys, I made the executive decision to go for urbanization before I go for hoardings. I'm gonna go for hoardings now, which only takes 8 years. But urbanization brings the development penalty up to 55, and since we only have 39 in the capital, it actually brought our monthly development growth all the way up to 7.9. How do you like that? We did end up having a son here who we're educating now, so when our character does end up dying, he's 61 right now, we'll be starting as a very young character. So maybe as this guy right here, we'll be able to surpass Constantinople as the most developed land in the entire game. Oh, okay, so we died early. That's okay, I guess, because now we can play as him. We can really choose all his traits. I will want somebody in my court to educate me. Ooh, this is important. I can actually pick up Diligent with our character here, and that should give us an option to develop our capital. And that's a great way we can get an extra 0.2 development in the capital from that decision. We'll just have to make sure not to get too stressed out from doing it. Oh my goodness, and what a book. Look at this, guys. Plus 40% learning lifestyle experience. Let's get this in our court ASAP. We already get something that gives us stewardship, and this one gives us martial, so we don't need that. Let's put the learning in there. We're only 2 techs short of picking up late medieval, so I think we did a great job actually, considering we were starting in the tribal era and we're almost able to get to late medieval as fast as possible. When we turn 16, you should see we can research techs pretty quickly. 15 years for this tech that's getting exposed to us, and then probably like something similar if I want to pick up banking, which gives us an extra 10% development growth. We should be in late medieval pretty soon, actually. We went to 0 stress. If we look at the development, it's 49 right now. I'm going to take the decision to develop capital. Gets us 77 stress, but this feast is still going on, so we should lose that stress by the end of this feast, and it boosts us to 5.5 development per month, which is really, really decent. I'm going to pick up centralization to give us another 0.3, and then I have to go down the scholar tree to pick up all of these beautiful things that boost our development even more. So we should be getting this back up to like 7 or 8, I would think, by the time we're our player is ready to go. I just went to tier 8 trade ports in the capitals. Now I have 2 tier 8 trade ports. Our city has tier 4 guilds and trade ports, so that's giving us a healthy boost, going up to 7.5 development per month. We're at 53 in the capital. And what are the Byzantines at? Are they at 60? They have just hit 60. The reason it's so hard to keep up with them is because they have the Theodosian Walls Wonder, which actually just gets you flat out 0.4 plus 20%, which is like really amazing for going tall. But we're catching them, guys. We almost have them. We're only 7 development away from being the most developed land in the entire world. Okay, we're about to get land grants, which is the last tech we need in order to start going into the high medieval or the late medieval era, which we need because we can't continue to upgrade a lot of these economic buildings until we get this cranes innovation, which is a late medieval tech. My steward is really good at his job. 28 skill is like a main reason why we have so much development right now. But I have to say, he is not very good looking.
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Okay, we just went into late medieval, so let's start researching cranes. It's only going to take us 8 years to go from 0% to 100% late medieval tech. I have to say that is pretty good considering we're only 150 years since the start of the game. Yeah. So we had another death event. That guy was really like powering through the game. We were doing super well with him, and of course the game thought they had to nerf us. I don't think it really matters though, because we've really almost caught Constantinople. They're at 61 and we are at 59, and we're still going to be going up by 5.5 right now, even losing some of those bonuses we had as the other player. So I'm really not too worried, honestly. Okay guys, we just hit 63 development. Let's see if we have more than Constantinople. I think they might be tied with us. Okay, yeah. They're also at 63. So we're going to have to go to 64. But once we do that, we will be the most developed place in the entire world. Okay guys, 64 development in Reykjavik. Let's go down to Constantinople, and they are still at 63. Let's go guys, let's take a look at the development map. 63 in Constantinople, 48 in Rome, 41 in Cordoba. Nobody else has any more, and look how nice that looks. Iceland is a shining beacon of development. We have used our ports, our tier 8 dry docks, as well as our tier 6 shipyards and our tier 8 dry docks in the temples, the cities, and the castles of the county of Reykjavik to become the most developed land in the entire world. So there you go guys, we're absolutely beasts right now. I didn't really pay too much attention to our military this game, just enough to defend ourselves. As after all, our goal was to be peaceful Icelanders, just like Thor's would have wanted for his son Thorfinn. And if we take a look at the Thor's dynasty, I think Thor's would have been very proud of his son and his entire family of creating a pacifist Iceland. At the end of the day, Vinland was really Iceland all along. If you guys haven't watched Vinland Saga, I'd say watch it. It's so crazy how similar it is to Crusader Kings. Like, there are literally characters in that show that are ripped right out of the Crusader Kings dynasties. So give it a watch, it's super fun. I really like both seasons. As always guys, I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye bye.